moving on. Whiteout is a graphic novel I read in either college or high school and loved. I'm sure you did as well.
Been a
I don't
while.
know.
Been a long time.
And I've actually read it a few times, and this is a movie that has been in the works for a long time. Remember when Reese Witherspoon was hot, she was supposed to be the lead.
Interesting.
And
Comic book was by Greg Rucka.
Greg Rucka, Steve Lieber.
Yeah.
How else do people know Greg Rucka?
Oh, he's done a lot of work, specifically Gotham Knights, which is a great detective book, and lots of other stuff.
So, Whiteout stars...
Gotham Central.
Right,
Sorry.
okay. Whiteout stars, now, not Reese Witherspoon, but Kate Beckinsale as a cop, essentially, in the Antarctic.
She's a cop.
In the
Crazy.
coldest, most isolated place in the world, where that...
I think that's the text at the beginning.
Yeah, we know that because
it's also in the comic too. It opens that way. That has encountered its first ever murder, and it's directed by Dominic Senna, who did what I thought was really ahead of its time. First of all, it came from music videos and commercials. Him and Michael Bay were like head to head back in the day. He did all the Rhythm Nation, huge Janet Jackson music videos, and then did California. If you guys remember that, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, with a
David
K.
Duchovny, California with a K.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then went on to make what I thought were really lackluster Bruckheimer action films with Gone in 60 Seconds and Swordfish. Although the opening sequence in that movie is one of the best. It's
Plus,
famous for having a great opening sequence.
I believe that was the first Halle Berry boob exposure.
Yeah.
Then a lot.
No, Monsters Ball.
That was after
Swordfish.
Really? Okay, interesting. So anyway.
That's why I said
details.
it was the first and then a lot more.
I gather this may all be actually more interesting than what we might have to say about Whiteout, but we'll see if that's true.
You presume much, sir.
I do.
Yes.
Well, prove me wrong after Alex tells me.
I prove you right. Yeah, this movie is crap. I mean, pretty crap, utter crap. There's a lot of laughing at moments that shouldn't have been laughed at in the theater. Really bad, CG stuff. I love inconsistencies, she doesn't have gloves and puts her hand on metal and then has to get her fingers amputated, and yet, somebody walks outside with, because people are gonna watch it. And then somebody is outside with a scotch, walking down a pole, sliding his hand down a metal handrail, come on, watch your own movie. So it was just bad. It didn't matter. It was laughable. It started like a Cinemax movie. You know what I mean? It just had that cheesy guitar riff.
And her walking around in her
and
underwear.
she just literally walks in. The first thing you see, she just walks into a room, takes off all her clothes, hops in the shower.
We hired Kate Beckinsale, and we're putting her in a parka the entire movie.
Yeah,
we gotta rectify this.
Yeah, but even then, it's don't rectify it at the first 5 seconds of the movie. Let's figure out a reason why she has to do that in the middle. Anyway.
Jeff,
poop on stick.
Am I being proven wrong?
Here's what's not good about this movie.
Aha, so I'm not.
The dialogue and the plot. Here's what is good about this movie.
There was some bad acting.
Here's what is good about this movie. The setting, which is instantly compelling, and I wanted to like this movie.
Yeah.
I was rooting for it. And John Carpenter's The Thing is such an awesome film, and if you have not seen it, I urge you to Netflix it immediately. But they do such a good job in that movie of creating this great environment and then utilizing what makes it stifling and difficult to live in and adding to the terror. They try to do that here too, but ultimately we just get ourselves into a kind of slasher movie where they want you to be curious as to who the slasher is, but I was never curious.
Yeah.
I predicted everything. I kind of knew the story, but it's not good, and it's sad because it's a really cool idea.
Right.
I didn't read the comic, and I knew what was happening every moment.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel similarly to you in that this did have a lot of elements that should have worked.
Well, I agree with that too. I just didn't want to say that
it's
because
basically it has a space movie set in the snow. It has that the environment is dangerous, and there's several it has that as a ticking clock where they have to get out of this place before it's all night and and there's abandonment, and then there's the first ever murder in this place that is very interesting, that I remember being much more a bigger deal in the comic than it was just sort of thrown out and that was it.
It was like, should we call this a murder or
And
just
then-
go to lunch? It was like,
and
I
had
guess
these-
we gotta call it a murder. I mean,
and-
literally, that happened.
I think the moment in the comic where you go, this should be a movie that is featured in the movie with the ropes that the way to get from one place to another in a whiteout where you can't see anything in front of you is this rope system.
Yeah.
And it was handled so clunkily. It was so hard to understand the geography of what was going on.
Plus, I almost
that it
feel
was
like
completely
you could also
ruined.
see. He says like in a whiteout you can't see 6 feet or 6 inches in front of your face. Yet she's on the rope. The bad guy's coming, and she sees him like 7 feet away. I thought the thing that would make it even more pressure was you know he's there, but you can't see him until he is on you.
Yeah.
That is the pressure that I would.
I think it also speaks to too. I think we've talked off camera about how like Uncharted was a great story for a video game, but like if it was directly turned into a movie, I don't know if that would work. If it was just that was a screenplay. In this comic, really everything in that comic was on the screen, but I think sometimes we read these things in other mediums and we go, man, this would be great as that. And really, it's great because it reminds you of that. But
Yeah.
if it actually was that,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be
Interesting
as
point. That's an interesting
yeah.
point.
Could be true.
All right, well, let's end on that then.